This used to be the heart of the railway works. This was a workshop. Across the railway you've got workshops that are empty. Bob used to work here in those days, and perhaps Bob will tell us a bit more of what life was like inside the railway works.
Well, I was inside the shops that we just passed, 19 shops here. This car park today we could see, but we never got out from inside to come across. But now we're here, there's some really good features to see still.
It divided the works with the railway line, didn't it?
It certainly was a big division. Dividing Swindon today as well.
Yes, it does. North and south of the railway line. Very few bridges to go under the railway. And the other thing that's interesting is that this whole community was built round the works. This is the church that was built by the workers and the railway company. Over here later you'll see the village. Bob, what do you remember most about working here?
I think camaraderie, the sense of place, that we were part of Swindon, and Swindon was the railways. There wasn't a separation, although we've learnt life since there is a separation. At that time, it was just the heart of what we did was the heart of Swindon, and that was really, really important.
Earlier I mentioned penning in ideas in Swindon. Over here what we have is we have the remnants of the first railway factory in the world. This was 370 acres of factory and space, and everything was built here that the railway needed. Unlike some railway works where things were constructed there, everything you needed to run a railway was made in Swindon. The only thing that wasn't made was the pins that they used. Everything else brushes the lot. Even today, we've got some really useful uses of this building. We've got the Steam Museum, and as we go along, you can see it's an empty workshop. Behind that workshop, several new flats have just been built, and that block of flats is absolutely in keeping with what this site's about. More can be done like that in Swindon. That's why we want to make sure that this town takes advantage of all ideas, not just council, not just the private sector, but the third sector, the voluntary sector. If we want to invite entrepreneurs in here, we've got to give them the space and the ideas that will excite them. They've got to have some aspirations, and this is a blueprint or a blank canvas that will allow those aspirations.
Well, I'm stood in a car park. What's a car park? Well, it's a place where people can put their car and take out their goods, their things that they're going to use for the day, and then take a walk around this wonderful town of ours. But what's special about this car park, it's right in the centre of the heritage site. And you don't actually have to go through the heritage site to get into it. There are ways into this car park, through the backs, along by the railways, right into the heart of town. But just over the wall behind me, there are 2 or 3 other car parks. So from a visitor centre place, this is perfect, absolutely perfect to getting right into the heart of a heritage centre. What more could you ask for?
In the foreground, the building with the scaffolding on is the New Mechanics Institute. This was a building that Brunel actually gave the brief to the architect for. It's a Gothic type construction, and Sir Daniel Gooch and Menard Ray were responsible for its construction. Now, that's in the foreground. In the background, you can see a large stainless steel tower. That is the David Murray John Tower. That was built in less than 2 years in Swindon. When that was built, they also built a shopping centre. That was in the 1970s. In those days, things happened in Swindon, and they happened fast. It wasn't the only project they had going on. They were also building and constructing the Dome, or the Oasis. And what we have to remember is that Swindon has been a town always at the cutting edge of technology, and at the moment we need to make this a place for visitors to come to and we need to show them that there's some great heritage for everybody to see.
Until I started to get really interested in what was going on here, work-wise, I didn't really know how magical this place was. What I mean magical, go and look inside here and look at the rooftops. You will be stunned. I personally think you will be stunned by how good this place is. Now the vision for the future is this could be an arts place, this could be a crafts place, it could be enterprising. You could put young people who want to build a career in these small units. It is an attraction in its own right. And for the future, I think we should be looking at spaces like this to really say, can we move Swindon forward?
In fact, what Bob's just said is absolutely right. I mean, anywhere else, every town's trying to turn itself into the Knightsbridge of its locality. What we have here is we have the opportunity for one of those people to come along and say, let's have 200 restaurants. Let's have 200 food outlets here. One that represents every mood you could possibly have. All right, I may be having a slight joke there, but the serious message is, the only thing limiting you here is your own imagination. There's nothing that can't be done on this site. And sadly, we're not grasping that. This is just a small part of what we have. Now if you go 2 streets to the outlet village there, and don't forget we have an outlet village already here, they've had to build units like this, and they've had to build them in a style to fit in. We don't have to build anything, we just have to reuse what we've got. Recycling's important, but refurbishing buildings that have still got 60, 80, 100 years ahead of them is what we should be doing. There shouldn't be any need to pull any of this down. Look at that roof there in the background. They've tried to cover it up, but it's a feature within itself. As you can see, what we have here in Swindon is not dereliction. We're very fortunate there. Not much of this site is derelict in any way. What we do have is large open spaces that are wasted. Anywhere else, this would be used as a form of market, or it would be an area to sell art or crafts from. What have we got? We've got a lot of fencing around it. The trouble with the fencing is it pens in ideas, and we've got to stop this in Swindon. We've got to work harder to make Swindon the place to visit.